All right.
So,
Thank you.
well, welcome everybody to our, oh my goodness, it's March and I can't believe it. It just feels like it was just Christmas. And uh, we have a uh, great program for tonight. Um, First, I'll do the land acknowledgement. The Durham Region Branch of Ontario Ancestors acknowledges that the lands on which we gather and where we work to preserve the records and family history of those who came before us are the traditional territories of the Mississaugas of Scugog Island First Nation, the Chippewas of Georgina Island First Nation, and a large Métis community. We recognize the lands on which we gather are covered under the Williams Treaties and rest within the traditional territory of the Mississaugas, a branch of the Anishinaabe Nation, which also includes Algonquin, Chippewa, Ottawa, Ojibwe, and Potawatomi. We honor, recognize, and respect these nations and Indigenous peoples as the traditional stewards of the lands and waters on which we meet. So here's our agenda for tonight. It says business and news, but I don't really have business, just a bit of news. Then we will get to Dave Obee's talk, which I know we had quite a few people sign up for. And afterwards, I got a whole slew of upcoming meetings and stuff. So don't fall off right after the presentation. So this is always an exciting time of year for genealogy. Roots Tech starts this Thursday, and many organizations also use Roots Tech time to showcase new tools and everything. And I've got a couple of offers to show you that I think is definitely linked to the Roots Tech timeframe. Go to rootstech.org and sign in with your family search username and password, and you'll be able to create your own schedule from the 200 plus new online presentations. So I'm looking forward to this. One of the items that have just been announced is MyHeritage DNA. Now, when you take a raw data file from another company like Ancestry or Family Tree DNA or 23andMe and upload it to MyHeritage, if you wanted the advanced DNA features, you had to pay a fee. Well, we have a period, March 2 to 9, where they're not going to charge you a fee and they're not going to charge you in the future with a fee either. So you'll gain access to features like ethnicity estimate, genetic groups, DNA matches, and all the tools you need to explore your relationship to your matches. And that saves you $29 US per file. So get everybody that you manage the kits for and put them up on MyHeritage before the 9th. They have a new upgraded ethnicity estimate model as well that can now covers 79 ethnicities. Before they only had 42. So I think it's a great time to do that. And several bloggers have written about this Ancestry giving free access practically for the same period, March 1st to March 9th. And this is from the Genealogy a la carte blog by Gail Deaver. And I love to follow her. She comes up with some really good stuff. And this is what Ancestry says about this free access. During Women's History Month, we celebrate the pioneering women who paved the way for us. How much do you know about the inspiring women from your family? Discover the stories of strength and survival in your family tree with free access to the 1921 Census of England and Wales, the 1931 Census of Canada, and millions more records not stated, so you'll have to find out for yourself. And don't forget our conference, which is going to be like a mini conference this year. It's a one-day in-person seminar, May 31st at the Best Western Lamplighter Plus in London, Ontario. Theme is Your Genealogy Legacy, Plan, Prepare, and Share. It's intended to be a day of education where attendees will learn the basics of how they can plan for their genealogy work to be preserved for future generations. So there's the website, seminar2025.ogs.on.ca. Go there to learn more about price, programs, speakers, venue, etc. And OGS has put out an ad for the volunteer awards. These awards honor volunteers in the society and branches and SIGs for the work and time that they unstintingly give to keep our society moving ahead. Any member of the society can propose someone for one of these awards, or they can propose a branch for one of the last two awards, the newsletter and the website one. Deadline is May 1st. Also, we have student essay awards, one for post-secondary students and one for grade 11 to 12 students. There is a cash prize as well as publication and families. If you know a student with an interest in family history, you should mention these awards to them, and it's the same deadline, May 1st. So at this point, I would like to introduce our speaker, whose camera has decided to have a fit. And so we won't see his handsome face, but we will hear his very melodious voice. So Dave Obee is a distinguished journalist, genealogical researcher, and historian with a prolific career. Editor and publisher of the Times Colonist in BC since 1982, he has authored numerous books, delivered hundreds of presentations, and contributed extensively to historical publications. His expertise has been recognized with an honorary doctorate from the University of Victoria, where he also serves as an honorary librarian and archivist. Dave's commitment to his field is further exemplified by his service on the Services Consultation Committee at Library and Archives Canada and the Board of Canada's History Society. His contributions have earned him numerous accolades, including the Bill Good Award for his impact on journalism and the community, the Governor General's Caring Canadian Award for his volunteer work, and the Paul Harris Fellowship from Rotary International. His book, The Library Book, A History of Service to British Columbia, was lauded as a top historical work by the British Columbia Historical Federation, which also recognized him with a Certificate of Appreciation for his contributions to British Columbia history. His dedication to documenting and sharing the history of British Columbia has solidified his reputation as a leading figure in the province's historical and journalistic communities. Dave hosts Can Genealogy, a link site that is selective and sorted for ease of use. His own website is at daveobee.com, where you can link to the other sites that he hosts. So at this point, I'm going to stop sharing and let Dave bring up his PowerPoint. Well, Dave, this was great. I bet you we're going to have a bunch of people overloading some of those sites tomorrow, maybe even tonight.
They should like the thing is that you don't have to put aside a whole lot of time to do that. You just have to say I'm going to go look at JSTOR and like register for the site, see what you can get at. You can spend 5 minutes there, or you can spend 5 hours there.
Yes. Okay, so I got a couple of questions and comments. Okay. So Wanda said, back about half an hour ago. There is also a book called List of Canadian Patents from the beginning of the Patent Office, June 1824 to the 31st of August 1872.
Okay.
So
Okay.
it's interesting to know there's a book.
Well, I'll have to be looking. I'll have to look at abooks.com.
Yes. And then Sylvia asked, Peter Skeen Ogden was my first cousin's 5 times removed.
Really?
Could
Okay.
you please repeat the source where you read out his name?
That was the Oregon Geographic. Hang on a sec. Oregon Geographic Names
Okay,
by Lewis A. MacArthur.
perfect.
I was actually at the cemetery a few years ago in Fort St. James, and either Peter Skeen Ogden or his son or his father, I forget which. I get confused with them. Anyway, that's where one of them was buried. I've got a photograph of the grave, but it was very, very snowy, so all you can make out is part of the name. And of course, Ogden Point here in Victoria, which is where the cruise ships come in, that's named after the Ogden family as well.
Interesting, very interesting. Anne is asking, have you used Project Gutenberg for books? The EPUB format lets you change the font size if you have poor eyesight.
I've used it a couple of times, but I didn't use it enough to really be able to speak on it.
Okay.
But it's a good reminder. Thank you for that.
Okay. Barb is asking, are there good map sites where maps are available that aren't under copyright?
There are several. What area are you looking at? Like in the handout, I refer to the National Library of Scotland, which has a lot of the best maps for the British Isles.
Yes.
But there are sites like the Rumsey Collection and so on in the States that has a fair number.
Yeah, that one is in Texas, isn't it?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, I forget whether it's Houston or Austin, but anyway.
What was the name of that book on patents? Could you repeat it for me?
Okay. And she's put it in quotes.
Okay.
List of Canadian patents from the beginning of the Patent Office, June 1824 to the 31st of August, 1872.
Okay. Okay.
That was from Wanda.
Yep.
Okay, perfect.
I found it.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Good. Are there, we did that one. Awesome. P. Leonard is saying, awesome. Thank you for the information. Thank you for the challenge. Lois said that. Marcel Camo, where's the handout available? I have a slide in a minute, and Dave also showed it a couple of times. Colleen, David, thank you so much. I have a question about ordering one of your books, Destination Canada. I've tried ordering it twice, but had not had a reply. How do I order it? Thanks.
Okay. Send an email to me tonight, if you don't mind.
Okay.
Because I have copies.
Perfect.
And my address is on the handout, dave@cangenealogy.com.
Perfect. More thank yous. More thank yous. And Barb, with the maps question, she wants historic maps of New York.
Okay. I would be trying.
Would the Library of Congress have maps?
They would. I don't know how many of New York would be digitized, but that should be fairly easy to find, simply because there's so many people. Are you talking New York and New York City?
She didn't say.
Okay, but in any event, it should be fairly easy to find those. Like I would even try the New York Public Library. Start there.
Yeah, that's true. Okay.
The list of Canadian patents from the beginning of the Patent Office I just found it. I can download the PDF on archive.org.
Oh, perfect. There
So,
you go, everybody. Start at archive.org.
yeah, I just had to confirm the name of it, and then bing, there I am. I found reprint copies on A-Books, but then archive.org, there we are, free.
Very good. Save yourself a lot of money, folks.
Yep, and you get a lot more done.
Oh, Barb's come back. Manhattan Dutch
Okay.
for her map of New York.
Yeah, I would start with sources somewhere there in New York.
You have to wonder if you might find it inside a book.
Yep.
Yeah, like on Internet Archive or Google Books.
Yeah.
Okay, so let me take and share. Since I have no more questions, I'm going to come back to my PowerPoint.
I just want to say one thing. Whoever mentioned this book on patents, I've already downloaded it. Thank you so much for that.
Thank you, Wanda.
Thank you, Wanda.
Okay, so go to daveobee.com, scroll down just a little bit to his upcoming presentation, and there is your handout right there. Oh, okay. So moving on to some of my other news and upcoming meetings. In local news, the Uxbridge Genealogy Group has a presentation from a gal from England. Dr. Sophie Kay is from England, which is why they've changed the time to 2 p.m. I tell you, you ask someone from England to start talking at 7 p.m., it's midnight for them. Not very nice. So 6 hats of genealogy, non-members, it's $5 at the door. Lakeshore Genealogical Society, based in Coburg, they've got Wednesday, March 12th in the evening, On the Backs of Babes, Researching British Home Children. Between 1869 and the Great Depression, over 100,000 children were sent to Canada from Great Britain. The idea being to alleviate the number of poor and destitute children who were living in workhouses or whose parents could no longer afford to feed and house them. They were sent to work on farms, boys as farmhands and girls as domestic servants. Christine Woodcock is currently the president of Ontario Ancestors, and she also is the co-chair of the Scottish Special Interest Group of Ontario Ancestors. So you must email this email address in order to get the link. The Ontario Ancestors March webinar is David Ryan this Thursday. Roman Catholic families often had relatives who became nuns, and David is going to be telling us how to research these religious women. And still on the topic of women, Ontario Ancestors is going to have a 3-week Thursday night series. That's March 13th, 20th, and 27th on researching women. Free for OGS members and $25 for the 3 lectures for non-members. And you must register. Our DNA Special Interest Group is Wednesday, March 19th at 7 p.m. Please contact me at either of these email addresses in order to be added to our email group. And going forward, I've arranged for us to be on the Zoom platform. Our next drop-in is March 27th at 11 a.m. via Zoom. Durham region questions, genealogy questions, DNA questions, reminiscences, research finds, lookups. It's very unstructured. So the sign-up link is up on the Ontario Ancestors events calendar. Don't be shy, everybody's welcome. Our last our last drop-in we had quite a long discussion of what to do with all our genealogy research. Next month on April the 1st, Zoom only, How DNA Can Reveal Truth, a case study with Mags Galden. In this topic, we will discover why DNA is and how to use it to scrape away the dust and grime of long-held family lore to reveal the truth of descent, all the way down to a pin on the map in a surprise no one expected. So it should be a really interesting case study. Our next few meetings, May is Ken McKinley on Scotland's People Plus Family Search. Jennifer Waymark, who's the archivist at the Oshawa Museums, has got Untold Oshawa in June.
Oh, wait. Right.
What was that, Wanda?
Oh, sorry.
Okay.
Do that. Oh, that book, I seen it 40 years ago. One of the first books I bought.
Oh, wow.
And I also bought one of my great uncles had to do with baking powder. So when they had the conference in Ottawa about 30 years ago, I went across and paid $4 for the patent.
Okay.
And I sold it to my company.
Okay, moving on.
Sorry.
September, we've got Thomas McKenty, turning genealogy clues into genealogy to-dos. We're also in April on the Thursday. Our branch is having a session on how to use Ancestry Library Edition, hosted at the Whitby Public Library in their eight-seat computer lab. So unfortunately, the class is full, but if you feel like helping, I need a few volunteers. We're usually open on Tuesdays and Thursdays each week at our library and research room. This is by appointment only, so you will need to book your visit with Stephen Wood at Durham Research at ogs.on.ca. Sometimes that front door is locked and we won't hear you pounding on the third floor. So best to make an appointment. As always, if you find what the branch has been doing and the speakers we have scheduled are valuable to you, we invite you to go to our donation button on the left side of our website homepage and make a donation to our branch. I think they will send an email by email an income tax receipt. If it's over, I think it's $20, but don't quote me on that. So that's all our contact information. Timetraces.com/Durham branch is still our current website. We are still working on it. And we have time, about 20 minutes, if we want to have a chat, and I'll start it off. I've been seeing a lot of mentions about Family Search's new full text search recently. Has anyone here tried it out and had success? Found any good Canadian records? So I'm going to stop share and then I can bring up the chat and the participant window. Feel free to turn on your video and your microphone and let me know your thoughts on that topic or any other topic you want to introduce. Okay, I have one message. I think that's still about our presentation tonight. Karen said, "What an amazing presentation. I will be able to share information with our visitors to the Red River Ancestry Genealogy Center in St. Andrews, Manitoba." Well, that's nice. I'm glad that we had a good Canadian reach and down into the States as well. Perfect. Always a pleasure to listen to Dave talk about just about any topic. So nobody's brave enough to make any thoughts or comments about full text search from Family Search or any other topic?
Is anybody indexing the Durham County land records?
Not us.
No? Okay.
We're still working on our cemeteries.
Yeah.
Getting them into Tony. So that's going to probably take my lifetime. Especially if we update as we go along. Tackling the land records, I think it'd be really nice if Family Search did full text treatment to those records. And then you could just go in and search by name and get every name inside the land records.
Well, you can look at you put in the microfilm number, and you can go page by page and look at it, but it's not really because they're putting the two pages together.
Yeah. That is not how I'm ever going to do land record research. Page by page. Oh boy, does that bring you back memories of the census 30 years ago.
Well, I have downloaded the index, and I actually made PDF file out of it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And just taking my time.
Okay. It's not a question, I think, of the index that they made, because that usually only mentioned kind of one name. It's all the other names inside the list.
No, like if you look at put in Durham County, and you go in, you can get you have to go look at the Durham rather than the township, and you get the very early land records up to about 1840. They index the grander. Beside the grander, they have the grandee, and then they have the registration number.
Yeah, but that's just two names, grantor and grantee.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
Where's this? Family Search?
The Family Search has the microfilms.
Okay.
And you can, like you put in Durham, Ontario, Canada, and all the Durham County records show up, right? Then you go to the land records. Once you go to the land records, you don't look at the abstract. Look at the other one, and it'll have it'll show the index for Durham County. There's 3 indexes, A, B, and after the volume P, there's a 3rd index. And that is for the whole of Durham County. It's not for the township, it's for the whole. So it doesn't tell you which township it is. But there are later township records that you can look at.
Yeah. Okay. That's interesting.
The earlier ones is for the county itself.
Well, that seems really weird because there were already townships when it was still a Newcastle district.
Yeah. I never thought to look at the Newcastle. I usually just go to Durham.
Yeah.
And like I said, it's an index for the whole county. From about 1808 to about, I'm not quite sure, up to at least 1840.
Okay.
1840,
we'll have to try that.
Yeah. And then the townships start after that.
Okay. We'll have to look at that. Thank you, Wanda. Is there anybody else who wants to say something?
You have a couple of hands up.
Oh, I can't see that. So could you give the name?
And DeLong is first.
Okay. And go ahead.
Okay, well, just a little while ago, I sent my DNA into MyHeritage, and just a small complaint. They give when you send it in and you pay, you get 30-day access along with your DNA, but they don't wait until you get your results to give you the 30-day access. So what happens is you don't know what to look for because you haven't got your results back yet. Right? So by the time I got my results back, I no longer had any access unless I paid for an extra year or something. So,
Well,
so that was a bit
and-
annoying.
and
Yes.
one of the benefits of your OGS membership is the MyHeritage Library Edition.
Okay, so I just need to go and figure that out. So,
Yes,
yes,
Yeah.
but I just thought I was thinking,
that was annoying.
it's a like a that's not the way they should have done it if they wanted people to be happy, right? So,
Well, you send them an email and tell them that.
yes.
Maybe,
Anyway.
maybe they'll let you have the access back.
So that's
Did
just
did you
sorry?
do the test from MyHeritage or did you download it from somewhere else?
No, I sent it right in, sent it directly in.
Okay, have you tested any other company?
Yes, I have, and I was quite interested in what Nancy was saying earlier, but I don't know if they would let you do that if you're not a new customer, but it's worth looking into.
Well, during Root's test, it's going to be free, and you'll have access to all the DNA tools forever.
Hmm. Yes,
Yep.
I perked up when I heard that earlier, so I will
Yeah.
be checking into that. So
Unfortunately, I think if you do their test, you don't get the extra DNA tools.
yes, but I do have 23andMe one that I could transfer if they would. But will they do that if you've already sent one of your own? Like,
Yeah, I would
what would
think
happen
so.
then? Would you have just two accounts or something?
No, it doesn't go by account. You only have one account.
But
you
how can you have two DNA profiles?
Well,
I have
I think
three.
you'd have to just link one profile.
I uploaded myself, my brother, and my uncle under one account.
Yes. And I've got about 8 test kits in there, all attached to different people in my tree.
Yes, but this would be two kits that were from the same person,
Well, you
right?
put yourself in your tree as a mirror twin.
Well, yeah, but you download it from another website. You
Yes.
download it from 23andMe rather than from MyHeritage.
Yes. Well, yeah,
If
you'll have
if
to
I
see.
I'll investigate it anyway. It sounded intriguing, but I was thinking it might not work if you already had the DNA under that name. Maybe you'd have to make a different account or something.
Yeah. I think you just make yourself a twin on your tree.
That's what I was thinking.
Yes.
Excuse me.
Well, that would really confuse people that were matched with you, wouldn't you?
You'd have to put a comment in there somewhere.
Yes. At any rate, as soon as I did it, I found a second cousin and we've been chatting. So
Perfect. That sounds like fun.
yes.
Okay.
Diane Davison has a question.
Okay. Go ahead, Diane.
I've recently tried the Family Search full text,
Oh, yes.
and I just typed in my ancestor's name, and a lot of the records came up for him. And then I noticed when I went in to look at the records, like for the land records, they had AI at the bottom when you downloaded them. So like
Yes.
it would show the land record, and then below that would be the AI transcription, which I
Yeah.
thought was really neat. A lot of errors, but it was still interesting to see it was already transcribed for you.
Yeah. And it is AI that they're using for the whole thing, you know.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, and that's through the Family Search Labs. It's a little
Yeah.
hard to find.
oh, I didn't have any trouble.
Oh, I did, and I sent the link to somebody else, and they had a hard time finding it as well.
Oh, very interesting.
Like I did it with just using the link I had that took you directly to labs versus trying to find it off my Family Search page.
Okay.
What
Well,
I like is they highlight on the document where the name is.
Pardon
they-
me?
On the actual document, they will highlight where your name you're searching is on the document.
Oh, that's good. Makes
Yeah, I
it
didn't
easy.
notice that.
Oh. Oh, we'll have to test that out.
But there is quite a few records. Like I'm like in the Woodhouse Township area, and there's a lot of records for Woodhouse Township. There's a lot for Simcoe, Ontario, Norfolk County. So there is a lot of good records there.
And those are land records.
Yes, land records, some wills.
Mhm.
Like it's definitely worth searching.
Okay. Well, that sounds like that's a lot easier than trying to index it yourself.
Well, and even still, like using, like if you're trying for your United Empire Loyalist, it's a great way to find records as well for that. Because I've been struggling the regular way to search, finding records for my one ancestor. And I was able to find something that I'm going to be able to use off of the labs. So I was quite pleased with that.
I'm waiting to see what they announce next at Roots Tech,
Yes.
because all the companies tend to come out with new things this week. So we'll know this weekend what's new.
And discounts.
Yes, and we've got the couple of discounts. There may be more coming.
Nancy, about the full text search.
Yes.
I haven't used Family Search for a couple of months, so I haven't tried it. But I know that there are a couple of other cases. For instance, in their obituary collection, they did have indexing that was done automatically, with an algorithm. But a lot of them were obituaries that you couldn't see. So you had to rely on what they had put here, which was often not correct. So, like, it's one thing if you have a full text search and it comes up and gives you a transcription of something that then you can look to see if it's right. But if it's a document that is not scanned yet, and that or it's in some other spot behind a paywall maybe, or somewhere where they can't show it to you right then I don't know if you want to rely on
Oh, no,
what
no.
the AI has written.
Oh, no, you never rely on that. You always compare it and fix it up yourself.
Yes, but this was the case where I couldn't see the original, so it's nice to know it exists.
In Family Search.
Yes, there were a lot of places, they had a lot of obituary indexes where the obituaries themselves, they had indexed them from somewhere and they had the indexes, but you could not actually see the obituaries.
Oh, well, that
Yeah.
wouldn't be in the full text search area in the labs. It'd be a regular,
So it's only they're
database.
only doing their own scans, not ones they've got from somewhere else.
As
Oh.
far as I'm aware, what they're doing for the labs is they're applying the AI to record collections that are word heavy. So things like probate records and land records, where
mhm.
there's a lot of handwriting and
Yes,
that sort of thing. And of course, we all know what OCR was like. Well, I'm sure
yes.
this for
Mhm.
full text for handwriting is probably, I think I heard once it's sort of like for each character, there's an 85% chance they'll be right.
Mhm.
So is in Family Search, sometimes you can make corrections. Is there a ability to make corrections?
Not sure. I haven't actually done this. I've just watched a couple of webinars.
Well, I know with some of the regular pages, not like with the regular search, when you go in, if you see something where um, the index name is not correct or something like that, I know quite often you can go in and suggest a correction.
Yes. I don't know if you can, this kind of free text area, if there be an ability to correct.
Hmm.
I really don't know. Okay. And do you see any other hands up, Janice? Sorry.
What did you want to know about the church records?
Well, how early and where are they? I know about the Ida Cabin Township, but is there any other early church records for the county?
So our branch has had a church like a project for places of worship for some time, and they've collected a lot of material. And it's a lot of it is not online. It's in files on our in our office. But
Mhm.
I do know that there are also some Wesleyan Methodist baptisms that have been scanned.
Well,
Not
I know
scanned, I mean indexed.
those are the four microfilms from the United Church Archives, right?
Yes, yes. So, but there are lots, there sort of, it's too bad if Janice is gone because she was in charge of that project and she knows about it, which I don't know the details of it, but I do know that the project was going on for quite some time and we've got quite a lot of information collected.
But have you cataloged them, knowing what's in your library for them?
Um, well, there's a library catalog that Steve and Lori would have been working on, and it's not online yet. It's going to be soon. Um,
Okay.
that has a lot of information. Um, yeah, so it shouldn't be long because I think they're just working on the last little bits of it. So, but at any rate, Steve Wood is our researcher, and if you emailed him you would be
Mhm.
he would be able to give you quite a lot of information because he knows all what's in the library. So,
Okay. Well, I'll wait for the catalog.
okay, yes,
Then
yep,
I can go, like, how you go into the library, you look each individually book
hmm
in case you
hmm
find something you didn't know.
yes. Are you okay there, Nancy?
Thank you.
Well, sort of.
Or did you get a coughing fit?
Oh, I've got a terrible cold.
Oh,
I'm glad my voice lasted as long as it did.
oh,
So, yes, contact Steve Wood, Wanda.
Okay.
Um, and I'll be trying to get the catalog up in the next several weeks.
Okay.
Depends upon the IT team at OGS to
Mhm.
get it up on the website.
So your original website's still down?
Oh, it's I need to ask them to blow it up because it's useless.
Well,
so so it's all the information is transferred over to their new website and it's working fine, but the old one's still sitting there out of date, and we haven't
well,
been able to get them to get rid of it.
That's right. So Anyway, I think we're finished for the evening. I don't see any other hands up. So thank you, everybody, for coming.
Thank you.
Bye now.
Bye.